And so let's go ahead and do this thing. And all right. So BlizzCon 2018. Uh, Boy, it always starts before BlizzCon, doesn't it? The anticipation up to BlizzCon and getting your hotel, getting your airfare, saving money for stuff at BlizzCon. Uh, and so getting that ticket, first and foremost, is always kind of you don't know if you're going to be able to get one or not. And in round one, I didn't get one. I thought it was real close and didn't get one. But lucky for me, Grand Nagus had some connections and someone in his guild who had some extras, and someone had wanted one and then didn't want one, and so they had an extra one ready to go. So I was able to purchase one. And yeah, Grand Nagus, what a good guy. And we'll get to his picture here soon, but so without his help, I wouldn't have even been able to go. And so the first and biggest shout out right off the get go would be to Grand Nagus, who was able to help me get one. And it was really nice of him. He just messaged me because I said, well, didn't get one this time, but hopefully in the second round I'm able to score one. And he sent me word. He said I could probably help you get one, and he did. And really, really good stuff. And I got to talk with him a time or two at BlizzCon, and boy, he was busy. He got to go backstage and talk with a lot of the voice actors, which was really amazing. And he was also in the was it the podcast storm or something like that, and where they had a bunch of the podcasters together, and he was in that as well. And he has a great show. If you guys want to follow it, it's over at Corpse Run Radio, and just type that into your old Google and it'll pop up for you. And he does a really good, he really is, yeah, he's been doing great with his interviews lately. And he's got a great show over there at Corpse Run Radio, so definitely check him out, and be interested to see the stuff that he has put together when he gets back to Germany. It had a long flight from Germany to the BlizzCon, so my flight was only a couple hours. His, good Lord, And but again, first big shout out and thanks goes to Grand Nagus, who really did a wonderful job and was so nice there to be able to talk to, and we got to sit down and talk for quite a bit. So really enjoyed my time with Grand Nagus. But we'll get more into that. So again, that first setting up the hotel, getting the airfare, and then that anticipation of going to BlizzCon. Now it's just then it's just a waiting game. And always it seems like you wait for years on end, and then it finally comes, and you blink and it's done. And there's always that post BlizzCon blues. They call it con blues. Not only the con crud, but the con blues, because man, it does feel like a home away from home for a lot of folks, and you get the opportunity to finally meet some of the people that you've been really wanting to talk to and see. So that kind of thing really does affect people, and it'd be interesting to see what the psychology is behind that, and see some studies done on that, and see what that is. Because yeah, even that last day, when you're there after, like on Sunday, and it starts to sink in that you're leaving, and it's like, oh, so, but that anticipation coming up to BlizzCon is always there's so much excitement around it. And the day finally arrives, and so I'm going to shrink. Let's go down here. And again, I know I'm kind of hodgepodging this as we go along here, so bear with me. Professionalism, I got it, or not, as it were. I can find the. Oh, was that it? No, that's. Where is it? Let me find it here. Give me 1 second. Scroll through here. Where is it? It should be up towards the top here. And we'll get started here with the photos. There it is. Click this. I should do that. And then that should. All right. So, we've got the first picture here. And again, you see the anticipation is great. It's 4:30 in the morning, and we're getting ready to go to BlizzCon. And you know, you don't get much sleep the night before. And so, man, even though I look very excited, very awake, no. 4:30 in the morning comes quick. And my son came and picked us up in his Tesla, which is amazing. And he's doing a little Uber driving right now. And so he picked us up free of charge. We got the parent discount. And so he took us to the airport, which was very nice. But again, 4:30 in the morning, and so it's pretty cold in the morning. Which brings us to getting through security, and grabbing that first cup of coffee is paramount, especially at 5 or 6 in the morning. Our plane didn't leave until what time? Was it 7? I think our flight left at 7. And but you had to stop, and you always have to go and get that first cup of coffee. And we've got a wonderful Starbucks there at the Spokane airport, and I really like our airport. It's there are a lot of international flights that go out of Spokane, which is, I think, interesting because we're on the eastern side of the state, but a lot of international flights that go out of there. And but we had a direct flight from Spokane to LAX, which was really nice. There was no getting off the plane then running down to another terminal. It was just bing bang, you're there, and I really like that quite a bit. And if I'm going to do it again, that's certainly what I would do, is just the direct flight, no stop in Portland, wait an hour and a half, and then on to LAX or wherever else it stops. Just one direct flight, and we're pretty lucky that way. That it's just 2 hours. You're up, you go up, and then you're pretty much going down. So very nice. And I had my iPod ready to go, full of all my favorite podcasts, and I was listening to Film Sack on the way down, and their thoughts on the movie Seven. So I really enjoyed that quite a bit, and so had a good time there. So moving on. So you got to grab that first cup of coffee, and I always go for kind of like the white mocha. For myself, I always enjoy a white mocha. My wife is a 5-shot Americano type there. So, and so again, in the airport, excited. We're at the terminal, and as you can see, I'm dressed pretty warmly because it was only like 50 degrees. And when we got up in the morning, well, 50 was the high. We got up in the morning, it was like 32 degrees. It was freezing cold. So, getting ready to get on the plane, and we got on the plane. And as you can see, the wife is ready for a nap, and I am, as you can see here, still a little bit tired as well, but got the iPod ready to go, and we're on the flight. And again, it's just a 2-hour flight. We got in about 9:30, so maybe 2.5 hours, but no time at all compared to people like, Lita, who 14 hours in the air, or some of the other people coming from across the country, 4, 5, 6 hours in the air. 2 hours is nothing really. So that was great, and again, a beautiful wife there, ready for a nap already. And as you can see here, looking out the window, the rain is coming down pretty hard, and it was cold. And it's still rainy and still cold here in Washington. But that's the time of year it is, and next, it'll be turning into snow. But for right now, wet and cold, miserable, gray. So we could not wait to get out of Washington into sunny California, which was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And landed, it was like 60, 70 degrees already, and beautiful day, as you can see. Even though a little hazy, but I think that's what you expect in LA. A little bit of the haze, but a beautiful day, warm. I was overdressed, as you could tell, way too hot. And so we made it. And next up was the super shuttle. So, and getting our bags was super easy. Going through security was really easy. They did stop and search my wife's suitcase because she packed her own coffee, and in the X-ray that just looks like a a white powder or a powder mix of some sort. She also had some dried mango, and so they did search that, and it turned out it was not cocaine, and it was just coffee. So next up was the super shuttle, and so you just walked out. We had that already pre-booked, and super shuttle really is a nice way to get from the airport to your hotel. Uber, I'm sure, is nice as well. I don't know how they compare cost-wise, but super shuttle is really cost-effective. And when we're there, we don't rent a car or anything. We're just there at the, pretty much just walk back and forth to the convention center. We'll talk more about that in a sec. But so didn't really need a car, and super shuttle is a great way to get to the hotel. And so picked up our bags, which went really easy. Didn't have to wait very long for it. And so yeah, it was really easy. And so we went outside and have some nice benches there for you to wait. And I think we waited maybe 20 minutes, maybe a half hour, and then hopped on the super shuttle bus. And this is me making fun of Grand Nagus. Went kind of back and forth, but he was saying for the Horde, and I of course had to throw for the Alliance back at him. But so now we get on the super shuttle bus, and got kind of a blurry picture here. But what's fun and amazing about BlizzCon is right off the bat, we got on the bus, and it's full of course, BlizzCon people. People going to BlizzCon. I think there's one couple on the bus, an older couple that wasn't doing anything. They were going to vacation or whatnot. But for everybody else on the bus was BlizzCon fans. And so the first question we got asked when we got on was, were we Horde or Alliance? My wife, who doesn't play games, didn't know, but I said for the Alliance. And over here is the one rogue, Pariah. And she runs the Discord for the rogue community for Ravenhold, and is a good friend of Christy Golden's. And we had a great time talking about, of course, World of Warcraft on the trip there, and the trip to the hotel. And it made the ride seem a lot quicker than it was. But, however, it did take us a couple hours to get to our hotel. And almost as long as our flight to get from Spokane to LA. Because, he's got to drop everybody off. And we were one of the last couples to get dropped off. So it did take us a couple hours to get from LAX to our hotel. So if you don't mind that, and again, Super Shuttle is a great way to go. So we had the trip to our hotel booked and the trip back to the airport booked on Super Shuttle. And again, it's like a mini bus, and you can upgrade that as well. You can take a smaller vehicle, and you could even take like we did a couple years back, take like a Cadillac and have just be you two in there. Of course, it costs more to do that, but so there is some upgrades you can do if you want to pay the money. But again, just the mini bus there is pretty reasonable. and I think it's one way to really, really go. And again, we had a good time talking with everybody, and I did get to see Pariah once or twice during BlizzCon. It was really nice and a good opportunity to make new friends. The other folks on the bus that we did see, rode down there with, I did see on several occasions. It was like we were old friends, and we're like, hey, so that was nice too. And what's great about our community is if you meet one time and you get the opportunity to banana the phone. All the political folks calling this time of year. Of course, it's a little late now. You either voted or you didn't, and so good Lord, telemarketers. But again, the Blizzard community. If you meet one time, you're friends for life, and so I saw the folks that rode our bus several times. It was so funny. We'd meet into each other, and we met several times, and it's like, hey, so it was really nice to see the folks from the Super Shuttle. So again, highly recommend the Super Shuttle if you're going, and really enjoyed that. So we made it to our room, and as you see, I got a little refreshed, and we had a great room at the Sheraton at the Garden Grove hotel, and the room was really nice, and throughout our stay it was very quiet. We were kind of in what I call the Strip. We were kind of at the end of the hotels that go to Disneyland, basically, and so we were probably as far away with the main hotels on the one strip. We were probably as far away from the Hilton as you could get going back to LAX. So it was about, I'd say, a good mile to the convention center. So, but it was really nice. I enjoyed my stay there. There's one or two little things that weren't the best, but it was really a nice hotel. The room was really nice. And for the most part, when you go to BlizzCon, the room is just a place to sleep, and then you're right back at the convention. So, you're not doing a whole lot in the hotel room, but our room was really a nice sized room. Had a great TV. Again, I haven't watched TV in forever, and so at the end of each night, I had an opportunity to watch a little TV, and again, I never watch TV anymore, and so it was interesting to see some TV stuff, and had a nice bathroom, a huge shower, and so it was really nice. And again, it was really quiet, so that's one of the things that you want, unless you like that party atmosphere and you want to stay at the Hilton. If that's your thing, then hey. But if you wanted a nice quiet stay, that's what we got. But again, you had to walk, and we'll talk more about the walk there and back. But I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a nice hotel, and it was pretty reasonably priced. So, and that's a thing to take into factor as well. And you want to get your hotel as soon as they announce, and you're sure you're going, and you got your ticket. Get it as soon as you can. I waited a little longer than I should have, because I didn't know if I was going, or am I going, or am I not going? And so I waited a little longer than I should have, and so my options were a lot less. And so, but again, it was a nice hotel, and that was the Sheraton at Garden Grove, and it was really nice. One of the nice things about it was that it's right across the street. It's a great picture. Right across the street from the Target store, and so you have a great opportunity just to walk right across the street, and the Target's right there for you, and they have everything you need. If you forgot something, a toothbrush, or you need some snacks for your room, sodas, whatnot. It's a great place to go and restock, or again pick up that item you might have forgotten at home. So it's just right down the street from you, and it's right there again on that strip. And they also have some nice restaurants along that row there. We had a great lunch that first day at Red Robin, and they also have an Outback right there as well. Joe's Crab Shack, and then you've got some pricier restaurants when you go up the way, like a Ruth Chris's Steakhouse, Morton's Steakhouse, a nice big Italian restaurant. They've also got Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. They've got a Taco Bell. They've got Carl's Jr. So there's plenty of places that you can go and get some cheap fast food. And if you want a more fancier meal, you can certainly go to one of the fancier places. And for the most part, each hotel also has its own little breakfast and restaurant and bar also. So there's no missed opportunity for, food, depending on your budget and whatnot. You can eat pretty cheap. Again, you could go to Target, pick up groceries depending on what you want to eat and how much you have set aside for a food budget. So okay, I'm going to pop over here real quick and see if I'm missing any questions that people might have had, and it doesn't look like it. Okay, so it doesn't look like I've missed anything there. So we'll hop back here. There we go. So again, picked up some much needed supplies, and then this is pretty much what I call the strip. Don't cut me, babe. All right, so this is the sidewalk that runs right outside the hotels, and you just go down this one sidewalk. You just stay on the sidewalk all the way down to the convention center. And as you can see, this was Wednesday night. Again, the weather was absolutely gorgeous. And this is, if you keep going down this sidewalk, you'll run into Disneyland. So it's actually pretty well kept. There are some homeless folks living on the bus stops, and quite literally living on them. Some had them made into little camp shelters, and but there wasn't any real begging, as that were. They weren't asking for handouts or anything like that, and you felt pretty safe walking back and forth. It didn't matter what time of night, because there's usually a huge crowd of BlizzCon folks walking up and down the sidewalk. So, and again, this was Wednesday, so that's why you don't see a bunch of people out here on the street. But everything's really clearly marked and pretty safe for the most part, walking back and forth. And again, it's beautiful. They really maintain it because most of it's in front of hotels, the sidewalks. And so the hotels really maintain the area in front of it. So it's a beautiful walk back and forth. But it is a walk. And let me tell you, especially at the hotel that we were at, it was a mile there, a mile back. So my legs were pretty sore at the end of the first day. And then the second, third day, boy, it was... we were pretty sore. But this was Wednesday. And we were getting ready for DitchCon. And so we walked down that night to the Hilton. And one of the great people I got to meet right off the bat was Bodicon. And Bodicon does a lot of neat World of Warcraft stuff and is really a good guy. And I've had the opportunity to meet him in past conventions. And so he's a lot of fun to talk to. And, I gave him a big hug right when I saw him, and just really, really great guy. Enjoyed talking with him quite a bit. And again, I did see him 2, 3, 4 times throughout the convention, and we'd have the opportunity to talk about what we've heard, who we've seen. And that's what's great about these conventions is you get to catch up with folks, and you get to talk to them face to face, which really makes it a lot of fun. Now, you might recognize this next group here. Now, of course, my beautiful wife, Lita Stone, and his awesome wife, and she kept scaring the crap out of Stone. Now they're getting ready for DitchCon. Now we hadn't gotten tickets. I had not realized that you needed tickets to get in this year, and so I hadn't gotten the tickets to get into DitchCon. And Grand Nagus kept telling me, you need to get tickets, and I didn't understand what he was talking about 100%. And so, but we were pretty tired that night as well. at this time it was like 8, 9 o'clock, and we'd been up since 4:30 in the morning, so we were pretty tired. But it was great. This was the first opportunity I got to talk with Lita, and to get to see Stone and his wife, and get the chance to meet his wife. And let me tell you guys, these guys were wonderful, and throughout the whole thing. And I'll talk more on that, but this was the first opportunity we got to meet them, and they were wonderful. And as you can see, they're all dressed up because it was Halloween that night. And the DitchCon was great, according to Stone. It was, of course, there was dancing, loud music, so it was hard to talk to people one-on-one. So if you're going there to dance and get in the costume contest and all that good stuff, that's what you'd want to do. But if you were there to just talk to folks, they had to step outside of the event because the music was just loud, but everybody had a really good time from what I heard. And so we went back to the hotel, and so the next day, Thursday, it was I love this little gift for this cat. But Thursday, I had my Turwinkle shirt on, and it was Con Before the Storm day. And for me, the Con Before the Storm is, and this has been said by Roe as well, that Con Before the Storm really is, and people ask for 3 days of BlizzCon. And so for me, Con Before the Storm is that first official day for me of BlizzCon. And so for me, I feel like I get 3 days, but also the Wowhead party was going on that night as well. But I always enjoy Con Before the Storm. So I had my Turwinkle shirt on, and I was all set to go up early, and the wife got to sleep in, which was what she wanted to do. But I wanted to get up early because I had to go get my badge and my my BlizzCon goodies, so goodie box. And so you got to start the day off with your coffee and with the orange juice. Now, my hotel had a really nice restaurant in it, and they were the guys were great, and the food was really good. In fact, this is our hotel here. This is what it looks like on the outside of the hotel, the Sheraton at Garden Grove. And again, it's beautiful. All the palm trees. The weather was warm. Felt already early in the morning, it was like 72, 73 degrees. It was perfect. By the time you got to the convention, you were pretty hot. So my first breakfast, again, this was a wonderful breakfast. And when I look at this bacon here, it looks almost like a spider. But they gave me a load of bacon. I just asked for a side of bacon. Man, they delivered. The waffles were wonderful. And again, it was an awesome breakfast. And you got to start the day off with a good breakfast. And I think each day I start with a big glass of orange juice. You got to build up that immunity system, get that vitamin C going to avoid the con crud. And also don't touch your face. If you don't touch your face, I think you take plenty of vitamin C, get rest. I think you'll come out okay. But and again, I don't feel like I have anything. We'll find out in the next couple of days for sure. But it's not incubating in me. But take care of yourself while you're there. If you're going to BlizzCon, make sure you're eating right, stay hydrated. Again, and get plenty of rest, unless you're there to party. And a lot of the younger folks, they can party until 3 or 4 in the morning, sleep for a couple hours, and then they're good. For me and the wife, no. I think this night we got got back to the hotel at about 12:30, maybe 1. So, I didn't get a full 8 hours each night, but pretty close to it. Pretty close. And one of the first persons I met that first day on Thursday was the one, the only, the Boz. Now, Boz was probably one of the people that I was most excited to meet at BlizzCon because I've known of Boz in the chat, and I've had the opportunity to talk to Boz through the chat only. But getting the opportunity to meet her in person, she is wonderful. And I mean that wholeheartedly. She is just a wonderful person. I got to meet not only Boz, but her mom as well. And her mom was just a wonderful woman as well. And I just called her mom. She was just absolutely wonderful to speak with and talk with. And Boz really made my trip something special this year. I enjoyed and loved every minute we got to speak with Boz because she's funny and just really full of excitement. And every time I had the opportunity to catch up with her, she was excited about one panel or the other, and was just a wonderful, wonderful person, and very funny and kind-spirited. And you can tell a lot about a person when you get to meet them in real life. And sometimes you may think, oh, this person's this way online, but when you meet them in the real world, the kind of that mask comes off, and you're like, yeah. But Boz, through and through, wonderful, awesome person. So that is Boz, and a wonderful, wonderful lady. All right, and again, this is Thursday morning. Got to go up and head on in and get your badge and your goodie box, and it's really simple to do, and they've got this down pat. You just go in, they wave you in, you follow the line around, you show them your ticket, which reminds me, when I got to our hotel, I realized, oh, I didn't bring my ticket for BlizzCon, my paper that shows that I get a ticket, so I better get that printed out, and forgot my password for my MSN, so I had to fiddle with that to get the password to go. I was starting to get a little panicky. I was like, and I finally got it to go, and then I'm like, oh, hell, I got to print it out. So I went down to the hotel lobby, and sure enough, it said the printer was out. I was like, oh God, I don't have a ticket. So luckily, though, it was not out, and was able to print it, but got my heart going a little bit. I was like, oh God, the things to forget. And so you go down, you show them, they scan it, show them your ID, you go up, they get you your badge and your box, and that's what it was this year. And there we are, get your badge and your box. Again, the box this year had an awesome book about all the BlizzCons before, and really neat picture book, and then a few little things in it, like a little Diablo statue, a key ring, some other things. It wasn't as big as it has been in the past, but it still had some really nice things in it. And again, free stuff. Who's going to complain about free stuff? Not me. So some little knick-knacky things. So that was really good. So again, that's a mile there, mile back. And then it was on to lunchtime. Now, these are kind of out of order, and so we'll go kind of cycle through these here. Now, we had the WoW Challenges lunch, unofficial lunch. It was something that everybody's going to go to IHOP for lunch, and there's an IHOP down by the convention center. So I went back, got my wife, and we walked back. And again, there's my beautiful wife on the beautiful walk down to the IHOP. And along the way, I did schedule an appointment for Zortz at the Anaheim Gold Massage. And what cracked me up was, it's $30 an hour for a foot massage, or $40 for the whole body. So it really shows how important your feet are if you're doing a lot of walking. But if you want your whole body taken care of, $40 is all you need. And so, I got the special for Zortz, and so, yeah. So we made our way down there and met up with Stone and Lita and the whole gang down there. And there's a great picture here, Stone flashing the gang signs. And because we had to sit outside and wait for a table to open up. Because we had about 10 people with us, I think, thereabouts. And so they had to set up some tables. They had a nice little sitting thing. You could sit outside and wait. And now, what cracks me up is Lita had gone in to get something set up for us, and she came out and said, I couldn't get nothing. They couldn't. We have some booths and stuff, but nothing together. So Stone went in and talked to some folks, and they pushed some tables together for us. And Stone said, the way that you get that to work is be nice. Just be nice. And they'll take care of you. And they certainly did. It was really well done. So as you can see here, we've got everything pushed together. And so we've got down here, again, Stone's wife down here, and Stone. And we got Boz there, and Lita, and Mary, Momentary Genius, who was a wonderful, wonderful person. I loved Momentary Genius. She was very nice. And, of course, my lovely wife. Grim, who was also very nice. And Tiber. And Mom, Boz's mom. And I was sitting over here by Lita, and between Lita and my wife there. So a wonderful, wonderful lunch, and really had a great time talking with everyone. And we're excited about Con Before the Storm, and what's going to be said at BlizzCon. And really, this right here is what makes BlizzCon special, is getting the opportunity to meet up with your friends that sometimes you don't get to meet in real life other than at events like this, and it just makes it, for me, the thing to do. Whether or not the news is great, which, again, it really wasn't. I mean, we knew it wouldn't be this year. There wasn't really anything coming out this year as far as World of Warcraft or that sort of thing. So, we knew it wasn't going to be the best news. But, getting the opportunity to hang out with these guys, even for a few days, was so much fun. And, hugs all around, and the excitement at just seeing each other was what really makes BlizzCon, for me anyway. And so we had a wonderful lunch. And of course, Boz Puppet came along with us as well. So there's actually 11 people. But and Anisi did a wonderful job with the Boz Puppet. They really are made very well. And so, hit her up. I think they're like $30 a puppet or something, but she does a wonderful job with them. And it really was a highlight for me, was the Boz Puppet. And no, DC, I wasn't going to burn any of those. So that was our lunch. And whoop, let me check this, see if there's... Oh, hi. Hi, Jess. Whoop, that keeps kind of going crazy, doesn't it? Yeah, it keeps kind of getting a whole bunch of pictures in there. But, hi, Jess. Oh, well, I'm glad you got over pneumonia, ma'am. But, okay. So back to where we're at here. So, yeah, again, wonderful time, wonderful lunch, and had a great time. And then it was time for Con Before the Storm. So the wife and I went back to the hotel, rested for a few hours, and then walked back to the Hilton. So we'd already done 5 miles at that point, and then it was 6 on the way home. So my legs were pretty sore by the end of that night. But Con Before the Storm, kind of a blurry picture, which I wish I would have gotten a better picture. But, as people were zipping back and forth, it was full. And the Hilton was full. But what's great about it is you get to meet all sorts of people, and again, kind of a blurry picture, but you get to meet Taryn Gregory, and which was amazing. You get the opportunity just to walk up. He had a meet and greet. You get the opportunity to walk up and talk with him. And so I had the opportunity to thank him for all the hard work he does for Blizzard, but for making a game that brought us all together and helping to make a game that has made this community what it is. Wouldn't have met any of you without World of Warcraft, or without Blizzard putting together this game and kind of making this community what it is. And so getting the opportunity to talk to him about that, and he was really a genuine person, really actually listened when you were talking to him. He wasn't like his eyes were glazing over. He's like, nah. No, he was really genuinely interested in what you had to say. And I watched a little bit how he dealt with each person, and really he was engaged with each person as they came up. And so what a great guy. And throughout the convention, you'd see him, and he was talking with folks, and super, super busy guy. But it's what makes BlizzCon different, I think, is having the opportunity to meet the developers and, again, getting up close and personal. There isn't security kind of pushing you away, or you have to pay $10 to meet them. No, you get to walk up and meet them. And also, let me just take the opportunity to thank Seraphis and Heather and all the Con Before the Storm folks that put on such a wonderful event each and every year. And it just seems like it gets better each year, because they really make such a wonderful, wonderful event, giving you the opportunity to meet some of these folks and giving everybody a place to kind of get together and meet one another. And it's really a fantastic thing. So if you go to BlizzCon, definitely make sure you're there the day before BlizzCon starts, so you can participate in the Con Before the Storm and get to meet some of your favorite people. Speaking of favorite people, one of mine, here he is, the one, the only, the Grand Nagus. And again, huge shout out and thank you to Grand Nagus for helping me get a ticket and being such a good friend. Again, we had a great opportunity to sit and talk for quite a bit here at Con Before the Storm and a little after. And he is really a nice guy, and really enjoyed talking with him. And again, he had the opportunity to interview a lot of the voice actors behind the scenes, and he does a great job on Corpse Run Radio, so definitely check him out there. And so Grand Nagus, he really was a lot of fun to hang out with. Up next, we've got Hawkeye. And Hawkeye, again, I don't know if he still does a podcast, but he had interviewed me a few years ago on his podcast. And really, every time I go, I look for him because he's a lot of fun to talk to. And he's just a really great, and I'll be saying this about everybody, a great, terrific person, and really fun to talk to. And he seems to know a little bit about everything there at the BlizzCon. So if you had any questions, I know I could go to him and ask him, and he'd know, oh yeah, you go over here, or you talk to this person. And really a great gentleman to speak with. Now, everybody might recognize this person up next. Here is Kaz Fox, who, if you don't know her, she is designs a lot of the cosplay outfits, and that are absolutely fantastic. She did the Hogger. She's done Greymane, and the Hogger one is the one people most probably know her by, but she did another great costume this year, and that is this Goat Man from Diablo, which is amazing. And Frosty Fox is the one wearing the outfit, and it was awesome. As you can see, it's pretty big, and the attention to detail was out of this world. She really did a wonderful job with it. And I mean, like I said there, did I just not kill you in Diablo? Are you back for your revenge? Should I be running? They had a great time, and they really, if you follow them on Twitter, you get to see kind of from their perspective, the BlizzCon, and the amazing things they saw. And the cosplay there every year at BlizzCon is out of this world. It's wonderful. And if you are a cosplayer or you just enjoy cosplay, BlizzCon definitely is a place where you can highlight some of the things that you do, or look to, enjoy the stuff that people create. And again, it's amazing what this community has brought together in the cases of artists and people that create things. And I think, again, that's one thing that really makes BlizzCon an amazing thing to go to, is you get to meet all these creators, and you get to see all these amazing creations, the art, the voiceover work, the cosplay. It's all amazing stuff, and you really get that up close and personal look at that kind of thing. Up next is Wispiri. Now, in fact, if you were here earlier, before we started the stream, I was just over on her channel saying hi. And Wispiri I've interviewed in the past with Turwinkle and on LFRP, and she is wonderful. And had the opportunity to finally meet her after all these years in real life. And it was so much fun. We got to talk to her, and my wife got to speak with her a little bit. And she is not only very pretty, but pretty on the inside as well. She's very, very nice and very approachable. And she had gone to the Wowhead party, and so I got to meet her outside that and talk with her some there. So it was one of my highlights. the trip was getting to talk and finally meet Whisperry. And she was a lot of fun. All right, people may recognize Ash. Ash is, again, a really fun guy. And he was all over the con. He was really busy, and he is just a hoot to talk with and laugh with, and gives you the biggest hug, and one of the nicest guys you'll meet at the con. And so if you had a chance to meet Ash, you know what I'm talking about. Big old bear hug. He's a big guy, and very nice. I enjoy talking with him each and every year, and so love that guy. He's just hilarious. Good old Ash. All right. I know everybody recognizes this person. Arcane Ratzel. She is just hilarious. And, the thing that I love about Arcane Ratzel is she seems to know everybody. And as you can see, I'm not wearing a Turwinkle badge or anything here. And she knew who I was. And she knows people by name. She's a genuine person that has a big heart. And she's so very nice. And I'm so proud of all the stuff she's been able to accomplish in this last year and a half, almost 2 years, working with Blizzard. I know it's been a dream of hers, and she is hilarious. If you're not following her on Twitter, you need to do so, especially if you're a mage, and because she does her mage stuff, and she is wonderful. And I love Arcane Ratzel. She is just the best, and she's so funny. So I got to see her a time or two at BlizzCon this year, and so definitely check her out. Follow her on Twitter, Arcane Ratzel. She is wonderful. All right, so the WoW Challenges folks had a table at the Con Before the Storm. And so, as you can see, Stone, Lita, and there was an author next to him, Robin. I can't remember the name there, and I can't quite see it, but she was very nice as well. But Lita and Stone, and I know Stone was, I think, a little nervous. I got him a couple of rums and cokes, and it seemed to mellow him out, and they had a good time. They had a lot of people coming up and talking to them, and fans of the show, and so there's some people that were excited to see him, and that's always fun to see. And so they did a great job at the table, and so I got to kind of get drinks and stuff for them as they were meeting folks, and I think they did a great job. They had some stickers there. They had up the WoW Challenges stuff that you can do, and getting more people interested in WoW Challenges as well that were there that may not have heard about WoW Challenges. And so again, having the opportunity to see and speak and hang out with Lita was, again, one of my highlights. Same thing with Stone. Those guys, both Lita and Stone and all the people in the WoW Challenges crew, really made me feel like I was part of the gang, and I can't thank them enough for that. It really made my BlizzCon extra special this year. The past ones that I've gone to, not that I didn't enjoy them, but I always felt like I was kind of the third wheel looking in. These guys really made me feel like I was part of something as far as the community is concerned, and made me feel very much at home whenever I was with them. And so, again, I can't thank Lita and Stone enough. And really, Lita was so much fun to hang with. And same thing with Stone. I really enjoyed both of those guys. As you can see, the Con Before the Storm was on the second floor. And down below, you can see the Hilton area. And if you've seen any videos of the Hilton and BlizzCon, you know it's pretty busy. Now, this, again, is Thursday night. Friday night, if you can imagine, it was even more packed than this. And same thing with Saturday night. And so it was just super packed, and they got a DJ going and music pumping. And I can only imagine for a family that was maybe going to Disneyland, staying at the Hilton, didn't know what was going on. Those poor families. I did see some folks coming in, and they were like, "What in the world? Maybe we don't need this hotel." But the party was great. You see people getting together, talking, and having a good time, and that's really what it's about. again, the news, you can always follow the news when you get home. You can see the things that you want to see, the competitions on video and whatnot, but the party, this getting together with folks and sharing stories and hanging out is really what, for me anyway, what BlizzCon is all about. So, and that's true. Ain't no party like a BlizzCon party, so it was a lot of fun. So again, we did get home about, I'd say probably 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I was up bright and early the next day for the first day, the official first day, or the second day of BlizzCon for me. And so I got up. I had seen the night before, kind of looking at the schedule, that opening ceremonies wasn't until 11 o'clock. I thought, okay, I'll get up at 8, eat some breakfast, go on down, and, that should give me plenty of time to get in and get a seat at the Mythic stage. So I got up about 8. Hey, did you get Rachel's helmet?
And her mouth guard,
and
knee guards,
and
her bumper.
Yeah. Just put her in one of those big, inflatable balls.
Or the PVC pipe thing that the 2-year-olds use.
Yeah.
The things that injure other people and other children. That's fine.
Have fun, guys.
Okay, love you.
Love you too. They're going roller skating. Okay, Zeshu, wow, glad it seemed like a great night. Greens from the Worgan's How podcast fan. Oh, okay, hi. Really have to see some of Kaz's works in person sometime. I realize the community actually was. It's a lot closer than I thought. Yeah, it really is. And let me tell you, Zeshi, and again, excuse the the inception here. And I'll just switch back. Her stuff, even when you get up close and looking at it, is so intricate, and she really does a wonderful job. Not only that, let me just state for the record what wonderful people Frosty and Kaz are in real life. They work so hard at the con, and they give every person they can an opportunity to take a picture with them, and and that's not easy to do. That is, especially for Frosty wearing that thing. Holy smokes! And it's so hot, and but they really do a wonderful job, and they're so nice. They really are so nice, and I love speaking with them. I know my daughter makes costumes and things and cosplay, and she really loves everything that Kaz does, and so I was able to pass that on to Kaz, that she inspires a lot of people to do cosplay and to make their own things, and so she is an inspiration to a lot of people, and they're an amazing couple as well, but and super, super nice. So if you ever get the opportunity to meet them, I highly recommend it. And as far as the community, it doesn't matter if you're Horde or Alliance. If you play Overwatch, Diablo, what Blizzard game you play, you're home, and folks welcome you with open arms. And one of the things that I have had to learn, and I still do, is when you see someone that you're like, oh, I watch all their stuff, I listen to their podcast, or they create art that I love, but I don't want to bug them. I'm afraid to talk to them. You have to get over that now, because everybody is so welcoming. They really, with open arms, and it inspires them for the next year. Going forth, I know for myself, again, I didn't get a billion people like Kaz or anyone else to come up to him, but I had some people coming up to me and call me out and say Turwinkle, and I always turn around thinking it was somebody that I knew, and because they call Turwinkle, I'm not used to people knowing me from the stuff that I do with Turwinkle, and so, but they'd come up, I love your stuff, and can I get a picture with you, and they would act like I act when I see like Jesse Cox or someone that I'm like, oh wow, that's Scott Johnson, or should I bug him? I don't know, oh, they look like they're busy. I'll wait, or the community that we have is one where you can go up and say, hi, I really like the stuff you do. And they usually give you a hug. Let's get a picture. Let's do what we can because of the community. You guys help me do what I do. So I know that's a long-winded thing of saying, yeah, it's pretty close. The community's pretty close. But here we are. This is, again, first official day of BlizzCon. Again, for me, the second. So went down, again, had a wonderful breakfast. Orange juice, had pancakes that day. Wonderful pancakes. And again, the restaurant was really nice at our hotel. And they made really good food. It was really, really well done. Now, so I walked the mile down there. Now, a lot of people have dubbed this BlizzCon LineCon. And now I will tell you that at every BlizzCon, when you go, you will be standing in one line or another to see one thing or another. And so you have to be patient. And it's sometimes hard to see people get very upset if they have to wait too long. And this year was a little different because they had more security in place this year. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, they have to do that sort of thing to keep everyone safe and in today's environment. So it did make it a lot harder to get into BlizzCon. And so I walked the mile down there, and when you take the left to go to the convention center, usually you walk right up to this area up here. You just walk right up, and you would show them your badge, you'd go right in. But as soon as I rounded the corner, there was a line, and you stopped. And as you can see, these people over here, that line continued to go this way and wrapped around the hotel over here. And our line kept backing up this way. And then there was the thousands of people that were standing in front of the fountain that you see pictures of. And if you've seen other pictures, you see how it looked like the inauguration of the president out there with just the huge crowd of people. And so I stood in line for about 2 hours to get through security on that first day. The second day, just walked right up and right through security and no problem. But that first day, it was packed and there was a lot of people, and it was funny because I was by myself and listening to the people around me, and the couple behind me were absolutely hilarious. We would move a few feet, and the guy was saying, well, this is like mythic raiding. We're just in phase 1. So so as soon as we'd move up some more, he goes, okay, this is phase 2. And it's a lot like phase 1. So absolutely hilarious folks behind me. And so this line over here was merging with this line. And so it was, like I said, it was a 2-hour wait to get in. And so I was glad I got in. I went earlier, so because by the time I got in there, the mythic stage was closed because it was already filled up. But you can go to 4 other stages and see the event. You just have to watch on the big screens, and they had really nice screens there to watch on. So you really don't miss anything, But there's a little panache to sitting in the the main stage area. But you still get the same information, and you see the same thing, really. Okay, so here we're closer. And you see the blue fencing here. And you would walk down the blue fence and then back around. And then the security gates were here, and you'd go through the security gates. And then you'd go in. So we still had quite a wait. Now, one of the things that bummed me out was that they didn't allow GoPros in this year. So I had just a little GoPro, which is about this size, just a little thing. But you can't bring it in for whatever reason. But I could bring in my phone, which allowed me to film video as well, but no GoPro. So I was a little disappointed with that. Wasn't able to film like I had wanted to. So a little disappointed with that. But, they got to do what they got to do, and you got to follow the rules. And so LineCon continued until I was able to get through security, and there it is. You're at the convention, and you get to move on in. So again, I was hoping to get into the main stage, but as soon as you walked in, they were telling you, no, it's main stage is full. You got to go to the other seating area, which I did. And this is what you got to see. You sat down, and you had big screens everywhere that you could watch the main event with. And so the main event played, the opening ceremonies. And, again, nothing really. And we kind of expected that, nothing really. What surprised me was the poor Destiny 2 developer getting booed right off the bat by both. You could hear it throughout the convention center. They just booed him to death. I felt bad for him. And then, of course, the other stuff was okay. The opening ceremony was a little cringy, to say the least. It seemed like a lot of the guys announcing things were either having a hard time reading the prompter or very nervous. They certainly don't have how do I say this? They certainly don't have the personality of a Chris Metzen out there hosting, which is sad to see. So the people that were announcing things seemed very uncomfortable, didn't seem very energetic, and so it was, and because really they didn't have much to announce. And then, of course, the debacle of first, the Hearthstone, that poor Hearthstone guy's mic wasn't working. They could hear everything in the Hearthstone arena, but it wasn't translating to everybody else. And so they had to cut to Overwatch, and then, it just kind of derailed everything for them. And then to close with the Diablo Immortal thing was really, I think, a bad choice on Blizzard's part, due to the fact that it was something that really nobody wanted. Even though I heard from a lot of people that it runs pretty smooth. I myself don't play mobile games at all, really. And in fact, on my way here, I did download Hearthstone to my phone, but just played it today a little bit. And it seems pretty good. But as far as Diablo Immortal, we'll see. Again, it's not something that I would play. It would behoove Blizzard to make it port it to PC, because I think most of us Blizzard folks play on a PC. So a lot of people were upset about that. For myself, I don't care one way or the other. I really don't. It doesn't, one way or the other, it doesn't affect me. But for Diablo fans, which, and I will say this right now, when I got home, because of all the Diablo talk, it's like, I haven't played Diablo in a while. I want to play some. And I played some over the past couple of days, and I still enjoy it. Diablo 3, I really do enjoy it. And, so take that as you will. So opening ceremonies happened, and, and then, again, blurry picture. There's, it's hard to... For me, anyway, hard to get good pictures with my camera. But when you walk in, you got a big statue of Jaina, and then I went downstairs. One thing that I was really interested in seeing, and the thing I enjoyed 2 years ago at BlizzCon, was the Hearthstone competition. And this is the Hearthstone stage. And they've got a neat area here that looks like an inn here that they play at. And the thing that was different and maybe a little disappointing for me this year as far as Hearthstone was concerned was that it was Team Hearthstone, and there were nations competing against each other, and it was a different way of playing it. So instead of just one person in their deck versus another person in their deck, there was a team of 4 people on each computer, and one person was controlling the mouse, and then they were all discussing what card to play next. I think they're trying to make an esports team thing out of something that probably really isn't a team game. It should be just mano a mano. And so, it's just my opinion anyway. I still enjoyed it, a lot, but not as much as I think I would enjoy, just the one person versus one person. Maybe if they had just the teams of 4 people, but only one person at the computer at a time, and they were picking their own cards. Maybe that would be a way to do it. And then deciding who's going to lead off and that sort of thing. And I think that would make a better way of doing it. Instead of having all four of them sitting there discussing, just have one person from each team battling one another, and then doing it that way. I think that would make a more interesting dynamic, and they could say, okay, this person on our team is say stronger with the mage deck, so we'll let them do the mage round versus So I think that would be a better way to do it. So a little disappointed with that. So after watching some Hearthstone, and again in the convention center, there are places where you can get coffee and food. There's also the food trucks. You can go outside and wait in line a million years to get something, or you could get something in the convention, which for me was you walk up, you had to make something. Downstairs in the other hall was where I was at in the Hearthstone convention, was a little pizza place. They also had a coffee place. They also had a ice cream little stand there. And so there's plenty of food and stuff that you can get. And again, fairly reasonable price stuff as well. It wasn't too outrageous. So I decided that, well, I'm going to go up and get something for, I wanted to get something for Lita and Boz and Dracass. And we'll talk more about Dracass in a minute here, and my wife and some other folks as well, Stone as well. So I decided to go to the BlizzCon store. Now the BlizzCon store is down where you get your badge, and if you're going to go shopping at the BlizzCon store, make sure you give yourself plenty of time, because more lines. And the line took me about 2 hours to get through. And you just wait in line. They've got TV monitors playing all the cinematics and things. And you're looking through the magazine and you're just waiting in line. And again, the reason why they call it LineCon is because if you're going somewhere, you're at Darkman Fair, you're waiting to try one of the demos out, you're going to stand in line. I think in most conventions you'll find that to be the case. And so I stood in line for about 2 hours to get, I got Lita a Battle for Azeroth Stein, got Stone a BlizzCon 2018 ball cap, I got Boz a Murloc plushie. I wanted to get those guys some Horde side. I wanted to get Lita and Boz the Horde bracelets, but they were sold out, and I didn't know they were sold out until I got up to the person finally, and then I was like, oh man, now I have to pick something else. So I went with that, and Dracass wanted a Deathlock bandana from Overwatch, so I got her that as well, and then I got my wife a Junkrat backpack and some of the badges that they were selling. So that's what I got. And all said and done, it costs you a little bit of money. So if you've got some money saved up, definitely you can do that, or you can buy it online now. But, so I got that for him and waited in line again. Speaking of Dracass, I finally got to meet her and the crew there. And it was wonderful to talk to those guys. I had been interviewed on this show years ago with Turwinkle, and they are wonderful. They're from England, and they were fantastic. And I love those guys to death. And so I had a wonderful time talking with them, and got to see them, I think, once or twice during the convention, and got to talk to them quite a bit. But they are a lot of fun. And again, as you can see, the community, it doesn't matter if you just talk solely online. When you meet each other, it's like homecoming, because you just love one another. It's great. It's fantastic. And so I can't say enough good things about Dracass and the folks there. Yeah, 2 hours to get through. Oh, the McCree cinematic was absolutely wonderful. Oh yeah, it's pretty big. And 2 hours, and some people stood in line a little longer than I did. I kind of went through when the convention was going, so again, sorry about that. And hi, Raz. How are you? So the line wasn't as long, and so it only took me 2 hours to get through. And sorry about the inception there, but I want to come back over and see who is all in here. So, hi, Raz. So, again, Drake Hass, Epic Geeks community. Definitely check them out over there. They have a wonderful community that talk about gaming and a lot about Blizzard stuff, but they have some podcasts, some Twitch stuff they do as well. It's a good time. You see, my wife had to get a coffee pot. They had one of the little tiny coffee pots in the hotel room and didn't make enough coffee. And so she had to get her own. And we also got a French press for Lita, because Lita hated the coffee and what she calls a plunger. But if you watch the WoW Challenges live episode live from BlizzCon, you'll see she'll show you the French press that we got for her. Excuse me. All right. So day 2 of BlizzCon. Again, the weather the entire time was absolutely gorgeous and absolutely wonderful the whole time. In November, green trees, palm trees, you name it, T-shirts. It was awesome. Now, inside the convention, you see I'm wearing a little heavier sweater because inside the convention, it was freezing, especially in the Hearthstone area. I froze. I hardly could make it to the end of the competition the first day, and was so thankful to go outside and feel that warm sun because it was so cold in there. So I wore a little heavier shirt, knowing that by the time I got down there, I'd be pretty hot. But going inside, I could stay kind of warm. So it was either stay warm or or freeze. So maybe bring a light jacket. I don't know. So second day, as you can see, I just walked right up pretty much. You just walked up through security and into the con you went for the second day of fun. And this is outside the convention. You go down here, towards the end here, and you see, you'd go to the next hall, and that's where the Hearthstone was. I went to go down there, and it wasn't open just yet, so I went back in. And, there's Sylvanas. She was waiting for me. And I said, hey, take it easy, okay? Lucky I don't take you out right here, but we're on neutral ground, so I let her live this time. No, just some wonderful, wonderful statues throughout. And as you can see, it was a little so. Now, I was a little nonplussed that we weren't invited to the Mythic Dungeon Invitational. Now, that was a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoyed watching that. And that was very interesting to see. And the competition was pretty good. And so I enjoyed that quite a bit. In fact, I think out of all the things I watched, I know Hearthstone was my favorite a few years past, but that I really enjoyed quite a bit. And then there was the March of the Murlocs. That was hilarious. All these folks, and I only caught, this was about halfway through the line, and there was hundreds of people dressed up in these Murloc outfits, and they were all as they're walking through, and they walked around the convention, and it was the March of the Murlocs, and it was amazing. It was hilarious. I enjoyed it. People were taking pictures left and right. When you went upstairs, there's a place called the Dark Moon Fair, where you could trade badges. They had a lot of panels up there where they talked about the art and cinematography of Blizzard, but in that upper hall. The Dark Moon Fair was a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff that you can do and see and get, again, more trading of badges and that sort of thing in the Dark Moon Fair. So it was really, really neat. Neat area to go to and hang out in. Oh, this is... my wife was sending pictures to Lita about some steampunk ways of carrying your coffee or your tea. And those are things that you can put on your belt to hold your coffee mugs and whatnot. Now, went to the Q&A panel and was just sitting there getting ready for the panel and by myself. But who comes along but Marie Peters, or Miss Miggy, one of the Blizzard community managers who I've known for a lot of years. And she's like, Turwinkle! And she sat with me through the Q&A, and she is just absolutely wonderful. And one of my highlights to BlizzCon each year is getting the chance to hang out with Miss Miggy. And so, great gnome extraordinaire, Miss Miggy, love her to death. And so I got the chance to sit with her through the Q&A panel, which was amazing. I really had a good time with that because first and foremost, Ro got up there. Now, I was under the misconception that this was Ro's first time answering a question, and so I was really excited until I learned out later that for the past few years he's been like the first one to ask a question. So for me, it was the first time I seen him up there asking the first question, which was pretty cool. And then, of course, Chris Metzen coming out and asking a question was amazing. And Scott Johnson also doing the moderating for the Q&A. He did a fantastic job, and I really enjoyed the whole thing. Also, Terpster going up, getting to see Terpster from the Yogscast. And what's neat about that is when I was leaving and walking back to the Hilton, Terpster and Duncan from the Yogscast were walking right behind me and talking about the Q&A. And I turned around and they split off, headed towards the Marriott. I tried to catch Duncan because I wanted a picture with Duncan, and but they were heading off, so I wasn't able to catch up to him and get one. But it's always neat to be at the convention, and again, around people that you, in your eyes, think, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so. And they're right here, and so I know if I would have maybe caught up to them, and again, that was me again going, I don't want to bug them. I know they're going off to the bar. I'll just let them go. That's, again, my anxiety of not running up and catching up to them. So the Q&A was really good, and we were all hoping that Lita was going to be able to ask her question, but unfortunately their question didn't get picked. But it was really well done. And then this was the night that the live show of WoW Challenges was going to happen at Stone and Lita's. And so I was excited about that. Now my wife, I gave my badge to my wife so she could go in and watch Train, the closing concert. And so I went over to the live show of WoW Challenges. And so, of course, finally got my picture with Epic Insanity and really enjoyed our conversation there after the show and had a great time talking with him and the rest of the gang. And we had a great time talking to one another, and just a wonderful guy. I really love Epic. And this was, we were getting set up for the show and getting ready to do the show, and it was a lot of fun. Probably the highlight of my BlizzCon was hanging out while they did a live show with Stone and Lita, and they let me be a part of the show, which was great. And then after the show, they did the Tim Tam Slams with Lita. And I was so full from dinner. My wife gave me a late dinner, and I just couldn't because I would have been sick. So, because they're really good, though. So you got Boz and Grim doing the Tim Tam Slams with Lita and having a lot of fun. Now, after that was all said and done, went back to the Hilton and ran into the one, the only, the Game Case, or Cuddles as he's known, and had a great conversation with him. And as we were standing there talking, Darren DePaul, I think that's his name, Darren DePaul, the voice for Reinhardt, kind of the mayor for Blizzard this year, the unofficial mayor of Blizzard, was standing there talking with a huge group of people, and it was just amazing. And but I had such a wonderful time talking with Gamecase, and I do each year, and he just looks wonderful, and he's been doing so many great things, and so it was good to just be able to speak with him, and also get the chance to, as we were standing there talking, Jesse Cox and Gerard the Completionist came, and so I was able to get my picture with Jesse Cox, and let's see, up here with Gerard the Completionist, and those guys are absolutely wonderful. And now there's a story. Yeah, Darren DePaul, yeah. Oh, it's a wonderful statue. And again, sorry guys, I haven't seen your questions and stuff, but because I'm kind of running this, it's a little bit a janky, but yeah, Darren DePaul, yeah, he was wonderful, and the Murlocs, that thing, and I don't know if that was a planned thing or not, but it was hilarious, and so got to talk with Gerard and with Jesse. Now, and again, my story with Jesse is each year I'm sent on a quest from Zorts to get Jesse to say all hell Zorts. Now, at the con before the storm, I'd come out. My wife she gets tired of standing there listening to me talk about Blizzard and whatnot, so she'll go out and find a place to sit down and read. Well, I'm just in there, geeking out, basically. And I go out to find her, and Jesse Cox is standing there talking with some folks. Now, he had a table for a meet and greet that was going to happen in about 5 minutes, but he was chatting with some folks, and I walked up and said, Jesse, you may not remember me, but we've met twice. Now, I met Jesse once at PAX Prime, and only in passing, mind you, not in talking with one another. He walked by in one crowd coming this way, and I was going in the crowd going the other way. And I said, Jesse Cox, oh my God. And he's like, hi. I said, ah. And I couldn't get back around to catch up with him and never got my picture with him at PAX Prime. But I was fangirling the whole time. The second time I got to talk with Jesse was a couple years back at BlizzCon. He was just getting to the Hilton, unloading his car, and coming into the Hilton to check in. And we were coming in for Con Before the Storm, my wife and I said, Jesse, do you need any help? And he says, well, not with this, but, I was like, ha ha ha, Jesse. And that was all I had the chance to see him. So this time, when I walked up to him, I said, Jesse, you may not remember, but we've met twice before. He says, I might. I said, well, it was PAX Prime about, 8 years ago. He goes, you're right. I don't remember. Said, I have a request for you. Could you, my arch nemesis Zorts has asked me to find you in a quest and have you say all hell Zorts. He's like, what? I said, he would like you to say all hell Zorts. He goes, okay, I can do something. And so I start to film him. And Jesse goes, so you want me to say all hell Zorts like I'm hailing a cab? Okay, all hail. And it was hilarious. And he did a wonderful voice with it. And I cracked up. And he goes, well, I said, thank you so much, Jesse. He goes, well, I got to get in there, get to my table and stuff. I said, again, thank you so much. You've made my con. And I was so excited. I was like, all right, great. I got it. It's my quest is complete. And so I was so excited. I went to check the video, and I didn't get it. Again, I'm not used to using the video system on my phone. I'm not used to taking pictures on my phone, as you've seen by some of those pictures. I hit start on the recording, and it got up to the point right before he starts his thing that he said. He gets right up and he's like, and it stops. Because somehow I'd hit the stop record button on my phone. I was devastated. I was crushed. I was like, oh God. No, no. And I really waffled on, should I say anything at all to Zorts? And so when I got this picture and I tweeted it out, Zorts was like, oh my gosh. He sent me a DM saying, tell me you got it. Tell me you got it. So, well, I got good news and I got bad news. And I told him what happened, how devastated I was that I missed it. Because there's no way I was going to go back into the line at the meet and greet. And let me tell you, I did go stand in that line. And I was going to say, I didn't get it. Could you do it again? There's no way I was going to do that. Halfway through the line, I was like, I can't do it. I'm not going to have him do it again. No, that it just seems like I'd be like, no. And so now I would have had, again, I would have had him do it here, but this is in the Hilton, and this was Saturday night, and the music was blasting, and you can't really tell by this picture here. You can't really tell, but it is packed in there, and the music is blasting, and you can hardly hear. Now, these guys were on their way to dinner, and but again, both Gerard and Jesse, very nice to give me pictures. The last day, Sunday, we got up, and the wife and I just hung out in the room. We had to be out. We had to check out by noon, and our flight didn't leave until 9 o'clock that night, 9:40, I think. And so the super shuttle wasn't going to show up until 6:45. And so we went down to the lobby and we put our luggage in storage for them. They hold your luggage for you. And then we walked back down to the Hilton. Well, actually, we took the bus down, which I think in hindsight, I'd probably do more often. The bus is really cheap. You can get it at all-day pass for $4. You know, it runs every 15 to 30 minutes up and down the strip there. And totally would be worth it, worth the money to save from having to walk a mile each time. No, you know, ultimately I didn't mind walking. Usually walking with a lot of BlizzCon folks, and you're talking about Blizzard all the way down, all the way back. Though by the time we'd get to our hotel, there wasn't many people walking with us still, because most of them were walking off on their own hotels. So we took the bus down to the Hilton and had the opportunity to talk with Stone, and his family were still there, his wife, and got to talk to Tiber, and got to talk a little bit to Debauchery, and the one, the only, the Scruffy Druid. And so I was excited to talk with her a little bit. We actually talked about D&D more than we did Blizzard, and got to talk to her. Got to say goodbye to Epic, who was there, and quite a few other folks. So at the end, as you can see, I'm pretty tired, and it was a long 5 days, but really enjoyed each and every day, and got to contemplate everything that happened on that Sunday, and so that was pretty much it. And so we went back to our hotel, had lunch or dinner at Carl's Jr. on the way back, sat in our hotel room, or not hotel room, but in our hotel lobby, and which was a lot smaller. The Hilton lobby is huge, and better Wi-Fi, all that. But we sat and read and waited for our shuttle bus, which picked us up about 6:25, and we got to the airport, probably about, I'd say about 7:15. So it was a real short trip back. And because, they weren't dropping everybody off, it was pretty much just there, and got through security okay. Again, they checked my wife's bag because she had the dried mango again, so when it goes through there. So checked her dried mango, and but then we just waited at the airport. Our plane was a little delayed, but other than that, flight home, back to the cold, wet Washington, and got home about 1 o'clock in the morning. And lucky for me, I scheduled Monday and today off, so I could be a little more rested and relaxed. My wife was back to work that morning, and right back to schoolwork, because she's could only take 3 days off, basically, and so she had to be right back. But I had those days scheduled off, and here we are, back to it. And so so those were, like this. Those were, now close this. I think, can we go like this? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe this is fine. Maybe that's fine. And then I can turn this off and have it go like that. There we go. Okay. So now, Raz, what are you oh-noing? I see you oh-noed something there. Oh, the Jesse thing. Yeah, the Jesse thing. Yeah. So, you know, I so that all being said, uh, what were my thoughts ultimately on BlizzCon? Well, if I was to rate BlizzCon just on the content that the developers and things, oh yeah. If I was to rate BlizzCon on the content that they delivered for the con itself, probably a C minus. But we kind of knew that going in. It was kind of the mid year where they weren't really releasing anything. Some new characters on Overwatch, on Heroes of the Storm. The Diablo thing fell flat for a lot of people. For me, again, I'm not much of a mobile player, but from what I've heard, it's pretty smooth on your phone and whatnot, and it's not even close to being done. So, of course, the Tides of Vengeance coming up and that sort of thing. So, as far as news and that sort of thing, the esports things were okay. Again, I was a little nonplussed with the Heroes of, or the Hearthstone team competitions. Not really my thing as much as watching one-on-one. I think would have been more interesting. Although I did really enjoy the Mythic Dungeon Invitational. I really enjoyed that a lot more, and might look into that a little more because that was pretty neat, and enjoyed that quite a bit. So that might be something new for me to kind of look into. And so for me, the other stuff, and I did see some arena team stuff a little bit, watched a little bit of that. It's still not really my thing. For me, it's a little hard to follow what's going on and all that. So, so as far as that's concerned, again, for me, it's not the highlight of my thing there. So I'd give it a C plus maybe. But as far as the people I got to meet and the people I got to hang out with and see, A plus plus plus. If maybe the S, if you're playing a Korean game or one of the JRPGs. S is always better than A. I can't tell you how awesome it was to get the opportunity to hang out with Stone and Lita and Boz and all the people that I got to hang out with. And the wonderful time I had with my wife as well. I can't thank her enough for supporting me and the stuff that I do, and allowing me to spend our money so we could go down and hang out with folks. Do I wish I could have brought more people with me? Sure. I wish I could have brought Raz and Zortz and everybody, Layla especially, with me. Layla has been my partner in so much of everything I do. Same thing with Raz. Raz has done so much with me and the stuff that we do here. So I wish I could have brought everybody with me to just hang out with and spend time with. Which brings us to GooberCon. It's something that we're starting to work on. Well, I'm starting to work on and seeing what we can do about making GooberCon happen this summer. And down in the Cedar Point area of the country in Ohio, and taking 3 days and hanging out with one another. And so everybody that I know and everybody in the GooberCon family, the Goober Squad family basically, is invited. And we'll, like I said, as we work on that more, I'll let you guys know what's going on with it, and see what we're doing there. As far as what I'm doing, again, I'll be continuing with the stream, obviously, and be doing stuff with Turwinkle. I would love to do more, get more Turwinkle Talks stuff going. I know I started doing some more, and then with all this stuff coming up, I kind of backed off a little bit. Would like to do more of that. And then we got another podcast in the works. Excuse me. So keep that in mind. going forward, that we should be having something come out here pretty soon with the podcast. So be on the lookout for that as we continue working on that as well. But as far as BlizzCon, and my final thoughts on BlizzCon is, I wish, especially in this day and age, with such a divided culture that we have at the moment, I wish you could take all the feelings that people have at BlizzCon and bottle it up and pass it out to hey, you bet. Is it, how do you pronounce it? Zeshu? Zisho well? Yeah. I wish we could all take that feeling that we have at BlizzCon and share it with the rest of the world, and it would be a far better and happier place. When you're there, again, it feels like it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your religion is, what your politics are. All that doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're part of the community, that you all enjoy, whether it's WoW, Diablo, Overwatch, whatever game that Blizzard puts out. You're part of the community. You're part of what makes Blizzard Blizzard. And I've said this time and again in the past, but it's a reason why Blizzard is where it is, as far as why World of Warcraft is still a game that millions of people play. It's because of the community. And I think Blizzard was so smart when it started, because it incorporated the community into the game. If it hadn't have done that, it would have gone to the wayside, like EverQuest or some of the other games in the past that are MMOs that are no longer around. It's because of the community that has been built. Where are you off to, Joe?
I'm going shopping.
Okay. My son, my youngest son. But yeah, it's all about the community. And Blizzard really was smart when it really developed the community. And it's something that I enjoy. It's something that I think makes WoW what it is us. And so it's hard to put into words what I'm really trying to say, which is thank you so much, guys. Without you guys, without everybody that I know through the game, I wouldn't be where I am today. I really wouldn't. And so thank you to everybody. And, to Raz, to Nick, to Zortz, to Layla, especially Layla, who's put up with me all these years. And so, again, we got a podcast coming out that's going to be kind of focused along those lines. And I think you guys are going to like it. And it's going to be something for the community and about the community and about WoW and Blizzard and all the stuff that goes with it. So keep your ears and your ears and eyes open, because it's going to be coming your way very soon. And it's something that we're working on right now. And because, again, I would love to see each and every one of you. And Zeus, what are you doing? I see you back there. What are you doing, huh? What are you doing, you big goof? So, so guys, with that, I'm going to go. And I may be back here in a little bit. As you can see, I got the boys to take care of, the pause before pause. But thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my BlizzCon. My BlizzCon trip. And I hope next year, if you weren't there this year, I hope next year I get the opportunity to not only go, but to meet you and get the chance to shake your hand or give you a big hug. Because I'm a hugger, and I'm not ashamed of it. And, so hopefully I get to see you folks there next year. And until next year at BlizzCon, I hope you make this your home and you join us as we go on our adventures here in WoW or whatever game we're playing. And so with that, guys, I'm going to catch you here maybe in a little bit. We'll see. We'll see. I'll tweet something out if we're going to hop into something. We may. Again, I've been dinking around with some Diablo. I've been playing some Barbarian and enjoying it tremendously. I know a lot of people are upset with Diablo right now, but all the talk about Diablo wanted me to play some Diablo, and I got in there and played some Diablo, and I have a pretty cool Barbarian in there and really enjoying it. So we may do that later on here. But for right now, I'm going to go. Have a great night, guys. And as always, remember, tell that special someone that you love how much you do and how much you care about them today. Let them know. Whether it's your mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, cousin, your significant other, let them know today how much you love and care for them, because they'll appreciate it as much as you will. So until next time, guys, bye-bye.